All right, we got definitely the best game of this series so far. OKC goes up 3-1. Turnovers and offensive rebounds are the most striking things, as they won the possession battle, had 11 more shot attempts than the Wolves in this one. And once again, Chet, JDub, and SGA all went nuts. They upped the pressure on Ant and Randall. But with this said, the Wolves went crazy from three. Ant was able to still get some downhill plays. Nikhil had one of the best games of his career. Not that I have offhand knowledge of Nikhil Alexander-Walker's best games of his career, but you know what I mean. And sure, I'll do a little bit of SGA ref talk. I think I actually want to start with JDub and Chet, who both shot really well from the field. I mean, Chet only missed 5 shots. I thought the first thing JDub did in this game was just play with a lot of force, because he knew that from the last game, the pressure on him was going to be a lot, right? And not Skip Bayless pressure, I mean literally the Wolves are pressuring the ball. There was a play early where he just went at Ant really aggressively in a straight line. There was a play late where he had an off-ball set, which already got him good positioning against Nikhil, and then he was just really physical with him around the basket. He was having this big sweeping crossover going right at Terrence Shannon. He had another foul on Terrence Shannon as he just, again, went right at him in a straight line. I mean, this is something J-Dub progressed on year after year, was just being physical on drives. I know for the season he didn't shoot as well from the field. But yeah, and then can we talk about that one J-Dub 3, or one of the J-Dub 3s at least in the fourth, if he had more than one? It's tough to remember everything that happens, but it was Jaden was playing off of him, and it felt like Jaden and Gobert had this little moment of okay, we know what to do if the ball comes over here, and then it was just kind of a desperate closeout as SGA had the ball at the top. I'm was there a plan here? I don't know. And then as far as Chet's game, I mean, it's similar to whatever the previous game was this series where he had a big scoring game, man. It's just sometimes it's a 3 because Naz Reid's playing off of him. Sometimes it's a long 2 that we all thought was a 3 for a second off of a pick and pop with SGA. But another time, kind of reminiscent of Cat versus Miles Turner just yesterday, where his threat as a shooter kind of makes Naz Reid have to close to him, and then he can drive on him from there. It did also feel like OKC's offense opened up more when Chet was the lone big guy. I mean, Hartenstein only played 19 minutes in this one. Caruso started the second half. I say this as if they didn't score 37 points in the first quarter, but they also scored 38 in the fourth, and it felt like Chet was the only big out there for most of that. And for SGA, I mean, besides him just being his normal self throughout times where Nikhil's playing really good defense on him, it felt like, similar to J-Dub, SGA also had what felt like, especially early, plays of just playing with force after what happened in the last game, right? Back downs on Dante, whether it's the middle of the floor, from the corner. He had a similar one like this against Ant, where it's just a series of it's kind of a back down, but it's also a series of spin moves, and just before you know it, he's at the free throw line. We know how comfortable he is there. And then just a couple times of freezing Randall on a switch or making a step back on Gobert. It felt like when Nikhil was on him, that was their best chance. And even then, I think he still drew some fouls on Nikhil middle of the floor. And it feels like a requirement to always do at least a little bit of ref talk when SGA comes up. I mean, the one I'll remember is when he kind of hooked Gobert's arm, where with that one specifically, however you want to fall on that one, positively or negatively for Shea, you can find the justification for it, right? Gobert, his forearm is definitely on SGA's torso, chest, whatever. And if SGA wants to shoot, he has to make contact with Gobert's arm. There's no way to avoid it. But also, he does a little hook thing at the same time. Look, man, he's a great player. There's 48 minutes of basketball. He took 30 shots. And there's definitely stuff to talk about with drawing fouls and what you approve of, don't approve of, and that's going to depend on whatever. I try not to get too caught up in it, but it also feels weird to completely ignore it at the same time. And also, if Ant and Randall play better, and if they don't give up as many offensive rebounds, they don't turn the ball over as much, they still win the game, right? We'll talk them in a second. The other thing, too, is just random big baskets by OKC's role players. Caruso continues to just be a good three-point shooter throughout the playoffs. He was at 44% coming into this game. He was 2 for 5 again tonight. Also had a couple of savvy just backdoor cuts where I'm pretty sure if Nas didn't go for the block, it would have been a missed shot, but okay, they called it goaltend. Kenny Hustle had a nice pull-up 2 on a pick and pop against Gobert dropping on a screen. Kaysen had a huge bucket on an inbound. Anyway, for the Wolves. So it was clear pretty early that the Thunder were going to up the pressure and bodies that Ant and Randall were seeing. And so you're seeing it early on with iHeart and JDub trapping Randall on a screen action, or Chet being very, very high up on an Ant screen, and then Lou Dort's trailing him, and then Caruso comes out of nowhere to meet him at the free throw line for a deflection. Very similar thing later on, where this time it's Kenny Hustle meeting Dante in the middle of the floor for a deflection. Of course, Chet, Caruso, and Kaysen, 3 bodies just swarming on Randall, and Randall made the right play to Terrence Shannon in the corner, but because of OKC's pressure, the pass was a little off. So that was a missed opportunity for a corner 3, but the Wolves were getting corner 3s. Dante got at least 3 that I remember. To go back to Nikhil, him just becoming like Reggie Miller tonight, that was the stuff that kept the Wolves in the game. And I mean, there's context behind this. Again, they're pressuring the hell out of him. But Ant, 13 shots, 16 points, 5 turnovers. Yeah, it's just simply not good enough. And I feel like for Ant, like his big counter to the way the NBA guards him was becoming one of the best 3-point shooters in the league this season, right? 1 for 7 tonight. I do remember one pretty deep pull-up 3 he had where Chet was in the play, and it was within their little fourth quarter run there. I don't know, man. Now, Randall was worse than that. I actually think Randall's numbers are worse than what it felt like watching him. I mean, 5 points, more turnovers than assists. Trying to find, like, I don't know, pin downs or off-ball sets for Ant to be on the move. Like, I do remember one play where he was able to attack Dort off the catch, like, in the fourth quarter. For the life of me, I really can't remember. I mean, I do remember, like, in the fourth where they were putting, like, Caruso, or it felt like a lot of Caruso on Gobert, or Lou Dort on Gobert, so when Ant wanted to run the screen, the Thunder could just switch it or just pressure the hell out of him, whatever. And so then he started putting Chet in the action, because Chet's not going to switch that. It's like, okay, cool, like, you're doing some different stuff out there. Also, that one block that Chet had on Jaden was huge. But yeah, that's about it, man.